Hey guys, this is Megan with Thousand Generation Farms. Today we are actually inside, kind of unusual for us at Thousand Generation Farms because usually we're doing stuff outside. But I actually had some suggestions and questions about how much it costs to raise or own a goat. And so I did some calculations and Joseph helped me, just basically costs over a year. So I'm gonna show you, I wrote it out and I'm gonna show you like my calculations. This is, again, just a rough estimate of our operation. Other operations could look completely different. So won't you come farming with us? Okay, so I have this paper written out of just the things I'm gonna tell you, my calculations. I'll just go through it. So the cost of owning a goat for 1 year. We have 18 goats. Usually we try to keep around 10, and then when they have babies, we sell them like in the fall, the early fall. So this year is a little different. This last year has been a little different, but we'll just go over the numbers for 2020. So we have 18 goats. As I've told you in previous videos, we feed them kind of like a crude protein mix with some crushed corn. We get this at like our local farm supply store, so like Orson's. Right now it's $10.99 per bag. We feed, or every time we buy feed, we buy 4 bags, and this lasts around 2 weeks. We can basically feed the goats this stuff for 2 weeks, and we give them about 1 feed size bucket full, and all 18 goats share that. So $10.99 times 4 bags. This is how much we pay each time we get feed, $43.96 or around there. So that's every 2 weeks. So we're gonna skip down to here. There's 52 weeks in a year, right? So if we feed every 2 weeks, we're gonna divide that 52 by 2 weeks, and we get 26 weeks. So we basically buy feed 26 times in a year. Take that 26 times the $43.96, the total of our feed each time for 4 bags at $10.99, and we get $1,142.96 per year for protein feed. So keep that number in mind. Now we go back up here. First I want to say, when it comes to hay, we actually grow and cut our own, so we're not buying barely any hay. I think there's been maybe just a handful of years we've actually bought big round bales or small square bales just if we run out, but recently, thank God, we haven't ran out because we have our own to cut. Joseph does that, but we'll go through the cost of that as well because goats eat grass and hay as a filler. So 1 large round bale of hay, an alfalfa and grass mix, which we feed. They eat 1 large round bale every 3 weeks. They are probably eating just hay and like the protein feed probably like 8 to 9 months of the year, but because they're on grass the other 3 or 4, but they're still getting feed during those months on grass and they're still munching on some hay. So I just averaged this to 10 months. They're getting 1 large round bale for 10 months, or not 1 large round bale, but they're getting hay 10 months of the year. And then grass the other months. I put 2 months here just to equal 12, 10, and 2, but as I explained, it just kind of varies. 1 large round bale equals $70 to $90 based on the quality and weight of the bale. So you can get like a prairie grass mix bale, you can get alfalfa. Sometimes if it's a different cutting of alfalfa, whether it be the first cutting or like the third, the quality can be different, and the weight can be different, of course, as well, based on moisture and stuff. So the price will change. Let's see, I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Okay, so for 10 months, we feed hay. If there's 4 weeks in a month, we take 10 times 4, that's 40 weeks. 40 weeks divided by 3 weeks, and we have 3 because every 3 weeks we feed 1 large round bale to our 18 goats. So 40 divided by 3, now I have the actual number here, it's like 13 1/3, but so let's just round that up to like 13.5. We're feeding 13.5 large round bales of an alfalfa and grass mix per year. So over these 10 months, like, I think just don't look at this. It's not per week. It's over these 10 months. So if you take the 13.3 bales and the average of $80 per bale, so 70 and 90 average, I just took $80 per bale. 13.3 times $80 is $1,000, $1,064 per year on hay. And like I said, we don't necessarily pay that, but that would be kind of a normal for an operation. Or like if we ended up getting out of hay, getting out of cutting our own hay and stuff, then we would pay that. So if you spend $1,064 on hay per year, $1,143 for protein, the protein feed we buy per year, you add those up, you get $2,207 per year to feed 18 goats. These goats are all different sizes, of course. You have your Billy, which is like the male, and he's a big guy. He probably weighs the most out of all your goats. You might have 2 Billies, just kind of depends. A lot of these are mamas, so they're kind of like medium size, and then some of them are yearlings that may not have had any kids yet, and they're smaller size most times. But so you're splitting all of this between those 18 goats of just different sizes. So we take the $2,207, we divide it by the 18 goats, and we get $123 per goat per year. So that's the cost of 1 goat per year. Now, Joseph and I were talking about how $123 per goat per year really isn't bad, because in the early fall when we do sell kids, like say one mom, she might be 3 or 4 years old, but she has twins, right? And most times goats have more than one kid. A lot of times they have twins or triplets. And so say a mom has twins, you sell both of those twins. Depending on where you go, you can usually get $90 to like $120 per kid. And this is basically right after they're weaned, so they haven't been really eating feed or hay. They might have tried it because that's kind of what their mom teaches them to do. So they do get weaned, but so really you haven't put any feed cost into them necessarily, except maybe their mom, just because their mom's eating a little bit more because she is she's producing milk for the babies. But anyways, so you sell both of these kids and you get, say, like an average of $110 per kid. Well, that's $220, right? For this one mom gave you $220. Well, if it costs $123 to feed her during the year, just like rough mental math, 220 minus 123, it's about $100 profit on that one goat. So if you have 18 goats, which I said earlier that not all of them are going to be having kids, most likely more than half will, but if we just say half, so half of 18 is 9 goats, 9 times $100 a goat, that's $900 you're making, which is pretty good. And I guess if the other goats, the yearlings or something, they're not producing a kid, then you can kind of see some loss there maybe just because they're not gaining any profit for you. But in order to build up a herd, you have to do that, whether it be cattle, hogs, you have to have a little difference in your margin. Another thing is when it comes to like vet costs, just depending on your vet schedule, like the schedule of vaccines you give, when you worm, how many times you worm per year, and this is with any and all livestock, that could also add a little bit of cost per goat or per animal. But when it comes down to it, it might add like $2 to $5. It just kind of depends, unless you have like a super major surgery or a vet call or something. So really, in the end, we're talking around $120 to feed a goat per year. If you cut your own hay and grow your own hay, then it's even less than that. So I don't know. I want to say, since like it costs a little over $1,000 to feed 18 goats per year of hay, and then a little over $1,000 to feed protein to 18 goats per year. We'll just say like half of that cost can be taken off basically if you are growing your own hay. So maybe like $60 to $70 to raise one goat per year. That's really not bad. And if they're having a kid or 2 kids, you know, your profit right there could be like $100 to $200 even, just kind of depending on your program, depending on the breeds and the quality of your breeds that you have. So not too bad. Now here at Thousand Generation Farms, goats they're kind of like a hobby to us. We definitely try to profit off of them or at least break even. It just kind of depends. We have a lot of other things that we put more focus into, but we love goats, we love livestock, we love cattle. We're trying over the, trying to incorporate better ideas to profit more, but most importantly, just to keep the goats healthy and to build up their breeds, get more purebred blood in them in the future. Those are some goals we have. And so we aren't, we don't have show goats or anything like that. And a lot of people do that and they do great in it. They have certain feeding schedules, all this stuff. And you can do that with like basically any kind of livestock. But as for now, we're just raising these goats and just learning more about them, learning how to take care of them better. And so that is kind of what we enjoy doing with them. But I hope this information helped you. I hope it taught you some things too. If you were interested in getting goats before, hopefully this, got you more interested, because it's really not like an expensive thing. You obviously need to have like a good area to have goats, to raise them. Like they need shelter, they need water, they need, a trough to feed them in, or a paint. What am I trying to say? Like a feeder, an area to feed them in. Just different things, like that all livestock need. Like even a pet dog needs certain stuff, like a certain environment to grow in. They need grass. But anyways, I hope this like swayed you more to being more interested in goats and maybe one day owning your own. Anyways, so I think our next video is going to be the big surprise we've been waiting to tell you guys. So, of course, it will probably just be me on the video, but stay tuned to that, and we can't wait to see you next time on Thousand Generation Farms.